Another traditional publisher closes down. Thomas predicted we would see more traditional publishers go out of business this year, and weirdly enough, we are. Down and Out Books, which is ironically named, has announced its closure after 15 years in business. The publisher, known for championing gritty noir and mystery titles, informed authors via email that operations are ceasing immediately with no further royalty payments forthcoming. Books are being pulled from distribution channels in the coming weeks. Rights will revert to authors and editors as per their contracts.
I really hope they issue rights reversion letters, because saying that rights revert is a real hassle without that letter. Because if you have a letter saying that the rights revert, you can just give that letter to Amazon or give that letter to whoever. Otherwise, you have to make this big long case and be like, well, actually, that publisher went out of business. Here's proof they went out of business. Here's proof of the contract. It's a big mess. So keep going.
The owner highlighted their impressive run in the email. They say, well, we had nearly 1,000 titles published. We collaborated with over 500 authors, more than 50 awards earned. But a sharp drop in sales in 2020 made any financial continuance just untenable. This is a problem in the crime fiction market, is what it is. Noir isn't where we're at right now.
Yeah, zeitgeist. zeitgeist.
Here we are again.
Noir is a uniquely third turning. It's a little bit second turning. It's mostly a third turning genre. So when noir was super popular was in the third turning last time. So the 1930s, 1920s, 1930s. And it continued being popular into the 1940s, but it was declining in popularity. People were shifting from wanting noirs to wanting Westerns. They wanted Davy Crockett, the noble hero, not the gritty hero, not the anti-hero, but the noble hero. And we're in that process of shifting from anti-heroes to heroes. And if they had been savvy to the zeitgeist, what they would have started doing is working in first turning detectives who are not compromised. They're not gritty. They're just a virtuous, righteous man. They would have done more Sherlock Holmes style mysteries, right? There's no question as to whether or not Sherlock Holmes is a good man or not. He's in no conflict with the police. The police are not corrupt, right? That's more the kind of story that we want, with actually evil villains and actually noble heroes. And so they were mispositioned. But I also say, in terms of the blocking and tackling of being a publisher, I pulled up their website's down, but I pulled up their website on the Wayback Machine, and I really am committed. Every time I'm going to do I told you so in one of these publishers going out of business, I'm going to do at least some kind of autopsy. And I will say, looking at their covers, the quality was really hit and miss on their quality covers, and they did not do a good job communicating the genre in most of the covers. So what happens with these medium-sized publishers, and especially these small publishers, is that they spend all of their money acquiring more books, and they don't spend any money on marketing. And that kind of publisher can't compete with indies. Indie authors in these genres were selling more copies than this publisher was selling in its genre. So there's a certain kind of like a new author or naive author who thinks that a small publisher is better than going indie. That's actually not the case.
No.
Indies have better access to data, they have access to advertising, and they have access to pivoting. If they find that they have a cover that doesn't work, they can get a new cover, and they're going to outsell these small publishers. And I want you to picture like some movie that you've seen where there's like a whole bunch of little aliens that are kind of swarming over the big bad guy and like demolishing him, right? That's what's happening with these publishers, where the indies are kind of swarming over and they just can't compete. And so I really would urge you to be cautious of signing with a publisher that's not giving you a significant advance and is not committing to spending money buying ads and other promotions to promote your book. You're really setting yourself up for failure. And I feel bad for these authors who are getting their rights reversion letters, but I don't only feel a little bit bad, because for many of them, they're actually going to see their sales go up now that they're an indie, and they're going to see their royalties go up now that they're an indie. So Down and Out Books was not doing them any favors by just publishing the book and hoping that people would find it on Amazon. That strategy doesn't work in 2025 when there's 1 million books published to Amazon every 9 months. or more. Now that with the AI slop, there's a flood of AI slop in addition to all the indie slop and all the traditional slop. So you have to prove that you have money and that you're successful with spending money on advertising. It's like peacock feathers. You have to demonstrate that you're healthy and popular.